Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the HerStoryTV and the HerStory Podcast. This is Gertrude Matcha here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I would like to introduce yet another amazing woman with an amazing story. Before I do that, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and pay our respects to their connections to land, sea, and community. We also pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. So for those of you who don't know, I'm normally in Wellington, New Zealand, but now I am broadcasting and living in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And this is a traditional way of acknowledging the owners of this land. So, my next guest, please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your amazing story today.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Christine McGee. I'm 33 years old, and I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. The story that I want to share with everyone is the battle that I had with a health condition that I experienced in 2007. This was a health condition that I did not know I had. It just was a big surprise to me. One evening in December of 2007, it it's called the AVM. It's pretty much a bad connection between your arteries and your veins in your brain. And with that bad connection, it could lead to a rupture. And when that happened, I pretty much, there was a bleed in my brain. And I pretty much didn't find out till way later, but that night that it did happen, I pretty much just all of a sudden had a massive headache. I initially thought that I can just maybe sleep it off, maybe take Tylenol, just forget about, but the symptoms just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Um, like I said before, it was a massive headache. My speech was slurring. Um, I tried to close my eyes, but the pain was just too much. Um, it was a very hard time, especially at the time living with my girlfriend. She had no idea what was going on. All I said to her was that, okay, I think, yeah, I need to call the ambulance because something serious is happening with me. And once the paramedics did come, they weren't really sure what was going on with me as well. They initially they did assume that it was a drug overdose. Um, so it was. I felt like a lot of time was wasted because maybe they were kind of stereotyping. Since I'm young, I'm a person of color. That they were kind of stereotyping the issue. And then when they eventually decided to take me to the ambulance, take me to a hospital, the only thing I remembered was when I got into the ambulance, I looked back to make sure that my girlfriend got in, and that was it. I didn't remember anything else. So, from what I've been told, I went to the local hospital where they did some tests, and it seemed like maybe also at the time we were in a small town in Arkansas, so it seemed like, yeah, there was some stereotyping going on since I'm a person of color, and also that might have to do with my orientation. So it seemed like a lot of delay going on. And it was eventually found out that I did have an AVM rupture after all the tests that they ran. And since I was in a small local hospital, I had to be transferred to a bigger hospital in the city in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I was still unconscious. Um, from what I was told, everything failed. Renal failure, my kidneys failed, everything was failing. My blood pressure was so low that I had to get life-saving medicine. And that resulted from taking blood from my extremities. So my hands and my toes have been amputated, but that was able to save my life. So, um, pretty much that was the only thing at that moment that was able to keep me going, but I still was not out of the woods. I still was dealing with kidney failure. And it seemed like I'm not sure of all the different things that were done because I was still unconscious, I was in a coma, but I did have dialysis. And little by little, I just started to come around more. And eventually, I did open my eyes. I only remember small instances, different nurses, doctors talking, family members, hearing their voices. It was just small. And then I eventually got transferred to a rehab facility to where I can relearn how to walk and talk. Because at that point, I was still bedridden. And the doctors, just the fact that I woke up was a shock to them. And it would be even more of a shock if I was able to get myself out the bed and relearn how to walk and talk. So that was the next step was for me to go to rehabilitation. And from there, for 3 months, that's what I did. I relearned how to walk, talk, um, everything got better. My physical occupational therapy, they were the biggest for me. They got me back to as close to as normal as possible. And the doctors there at that time, yeah, I did have to end up getting my amputations. They couldn't save my hands and toes. So I did end up getting that, but it still saved my life. And that's what I'm just so appreciative for because I was able to still see my family, see my girlfriend who's now my wife, and to go on with our lives and to accomplish everything that I want to accomplish. And I feel like with this gift that I was given, that it can definitely help those who've experienced similar health conditions, those who have had an AVM rupture, those who are living with amputations or disability. I'm just glad that I can share what happened to me to show that maybe I can be inspiration. Because even after everything that happened to me, I still was able to go to college. I got my bachelor's in social science. I got my master's in Homeland Security. And now I'm a legal assistant with the Department of Justice. So I'm really hoping that I can show others that it's not over, once you experience something like this. Once you stuck with a permanent disability. I mean, if anything, that just means that you have more ability to accomplish your goals. So That's all that I really have to show my story, and that hopefully it can inspire other people.
Christine, you have been to hell and back, is putting it lightly. You have an incredible, incredible story. Now, what you've described is an issue that impacts a lot of people of color, especially in cases of medical emergencies. You know, when a Black woman is calling for help, a lot of times the first responders stereotype what the issue could be before they even attend to it.
Hmm.
The whole situation was prolonged with people doubting what you were saying, thinking you might have had a drug overdose and you hadn't. I had a similar experience when my daughter was having her first baby. They think that Black people have got a very high threshold for pain, and
Hmm.
she suffered unnecessarily. Now, I know it was challenging for you because you couldn't even talk at the time. And now you're advocating for other people who could find themselves in similar positions. If there is somebody who's listening to us right now who has a relative or a friend who's going through a health challenge, and you know there's more to the issue than what the medical professionals are telling you, what advice can you give? What should have been done? What could your family and friend have done to help you earlier?
Um, I think what really helped was at the time my girlfriend, who is now my wife, she's not the person to just sit back and let the others tell her what's happening. She's stern with it, and she makes sure that she gets the right answers, not just just take the first answer. She makes sure that she does her due diligence and make sure that she completely understands it. And I think that was very key, because I think some some people around me, they kind of just take the first answer, and is far from that. So I think in my situation, I think if it wasn't for her and a few other people around me at that time, I think that, yeah, I possibly could have died at that first hospital, where it seemed like, yeah, there was a lot of delay going on.
Mm. Yeah, it's actually shocking and very, very disappointing that you had to suffer so much before you got the right help you needed. But so what you're basically saying is, if you have a family member, a friend who's been diagnosed with something, do your own research, find out, keep on insisting that more tests are done. Don't just accept what you're being told, is the basic premise, right?
Yes, and I accept the very first answer you get.
Yeah. Now, you managed to get yourself back on your feet. You managed to go to college, get your degree, and now you're working. How has it been for you now with this disability to find work, to function in the workplace with all of the challenges that you have?
I think that yeah, it does have its challenges, but from what I've learned through all this is that there's always a way to adapt. Um, Regardless if it's some kind of equipment I need, or just even if there's anything, any technology built for this specifically, the years that I've dealt with this, I've just learned to adapt. I know that, yeah, I do have to try a little bit harder than the next person who doesn't have a disability, but I feel like that's more beneficial to me. because I'm putting out there 110%. I'm always giving it the best I've got, and that there's nothing that can stop me. But if this is my goal, then nothing can stop me. It's made me a more determined person.
It's absolutely incredible. So, right now, you managed to get yourself onto this broadcast. Are you using voice activated technology to use a computer? I'm trying to understand how you manage to function because it's just incredible what you've done with your life.
Yeah, for anything dealing with technology, no, I don't have a voice activated device. I don't really use too many assistive devices. The only thing I use is when I drive is just like a steering knob um to help me maneuver the steering wheel. But other than that, I really don't use anything specific. I just find different ways to make something work. If it's just, something real simple, I don't really use too many, assistive devices to live day to day.
Mm. Wow. Wow, it's incredible. And so, your work, are you working from home or are you physically going into the workplace?
I'm physically going into a workplace.
And you're able to drive and do all of this despite the challenge you've had.
Yes. Yes, I still have my left hand. It's just kind of missing some parts of it, but I have learned. Yeah, I would say especially the very first day that when I realized what really happened to my hand. Yeah,
Mm.
I was really having issues for a good while, but then I just learned to adapt. I just kept on trying. I didn't give up on the little different things that you need to do to live day to day, and I wanted to be independent. I didn't want somebody else to have to do everything for me. I wanted to do everything my own. I don't mind accepting help, but I just want to have that independence.
Yeah. So, if you were to go back to that young woman who was struck down by this horrible illness, if there's somebody who's listening to us right now who is in a similar situation, if you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom, advice on how to get up and continue with life, what three nuggets of wisdom would you share?
Um, I would say to definitely don't take anything for granted. Um, the time that you have with your family, your loved ones, everyone, your goals that you have, don't take them for granted and procrastinate. Enjoy every moment that you have in everything that you have. Don't sit there and think, oh, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. Because just, I feel like before, you know, yeah, nobody probably thinks about how much their hands mean to them. But since I did, that's been the biggest thing that I've missed is having the ability to use my left hand, my right hand. I would say just don't take anything for granted. But my next advice would be is that, of course, life throws you so many different things And when it does, that doesn't mean you can't still reach your goals. I still have, even back then, before this happened, I still had my goals to marry my wife, have a successful career, and I was still able to do it. I might have gone about it a different way than I expected, but I did not think to myself, oh, well, now, I can't do anything. I can't even get close to what I really wanted. I would just tell my former self that just because you have this setback, do not think that you can go anywhere in life, that you can't enjoy all the things that you want to do.
Fantastic. Your story is truly, truly inspiring, Christine. I wish you all the best. It's such an honor to meet you. When I interviewed your partner and she told me your story, I was just blown away at what the two of you have gone through these last few years. And it seems to me like your relationship is stronger than ever. It's a beautiful thing to see. Good luck to you. Are you open to people contacting you who might need help, who might have a friend or a relative who's going through a challenge?
Oh, of course. Of course. I currently, I would say since 2009 or 10, I have a Facebook page for AVM survivors to connect. And if you have questions about anything, that we can all share. Because, of course, I like to be educated on too. I don't have all the answers. I don't pretend to. But if I can lend advice to someone, or vice versa, then yes, I would definitely welcome anyone who has questions, or can t- tell me anything dealing with AVMs.
What is the name of the group on Facebook?
Oh, it's AVM survivors.
Okay, let me see if I can find it.
Oh, okay.
Or
I believe
maybe,
I submitted in the form actually.
okay. So I will add it to the interview once I edit this interview before it goes out. But thank you so much for being with us today and sharing this phenomenal story. I wish you all the luck in everything you're doing. And hopefully, you and your partner will come to New Zealand for the filming of the pilot for the Her Story reality TV show. Let's try and see if we can make that a reality as well. But thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Her Story movement is attracting some phenomenal women on the planet, just incredible stories. And I feel really privileged to have met you, Christine. Thank you so much for today's interview.
Oh, and thank you very much.
Bye for now, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow with yet another amazing guest. Have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world.